this day is on page 10 in our prayer books. Maya Fehayon, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayon, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayon. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayon. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for being here this evening. It's nice to see all of you and to be back on the Bima after a week away. I was thinking about this week's Torah portion earlier today. In our portion, Moses hits a rock, even though he's told just to speak to the rock to receive water. He doesn't follow God's orders. And there is a theory that he's hitting the rock because he is upset or perhaps grieving the loss of his sister Miriam. And sometimes when we're experiencing grief, we do things that we don't expect or we don't understand. And that's an okay thing. Unfortunately for Moses, it has consequences where he can't enter the promised land. But I think it's a good lesson to remember that even if we are told to speak or to do something that may not be what we want to do in that moment, perhaps we can still express that need through a different action. We're going to start in our prayer books on page 169. It is not we alone who pray, all things pray. All things pour forth their souls. The heavens pray, the earth prays, every creature and every living thing prays. In all life there is longing. Creation itself is but a longing, a prayer to the Almighty. What are the clouds, the rising and setting of the sun, the soft radiance of the moon, and the gentleness of the night? What are the flashes of the human mind, and the storms of the human heart? They are all prayers, the outpouring of boundless longing for God. Our candle blessing is on page 2. Maybe there's one of those candles that's already lit and you just do,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Continue with a meditation. If you're able to uncross your legs and your arms, perhaps take a deep breath and just settle in, get comfortable. Thank you for this day. May I be aware of all of its blessings. May I notice each moment of love. May I appreciate each breath. May I see beyond my fears. May I recognize beauty. May I receive each morsel of joy offered. May I absorb kindness. May I not sabotage the happiness of myself or others. Thank you for this day. May I be aware of all of its blessings. For the blessings of this day, I give thanks in advance. Today is an opportunity to experience the miracle of every moment. What miracles are you experiencing today? In our prayer books, we're on page 13.
So, towards the bottom of the page, 4 lines up from the bottom, it tells us that the fields and everything in them exult, and all the trees and all the forests are shouting and singing and dancing with joy. And summer is a time when everything is dancing with color and life. And so we sing Ya'alo Sadai. Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. As Yiranenu kol Atzei Yar. 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 Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 ay. As Yiranenu kol Atzei Yar. 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 Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'alo Sadai v'chol asher bo Ya'alo Sadai. Ay, 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 ay.
We welcome in the Shabbat bride on page 20 with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Shabor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ותפארת ולתחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת לקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעורף קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבור אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובשכלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה.
Please be seated. Page 27. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time. Even at unlikely times and through unlikely places, there is no place on earth without the presence.
יתקדם ויתקדש שמי רבה, מעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תכון בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולמי עמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה ינקום מנחתה בשירתה, תושבחתה בנחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה, ואמרו אמן.
On page 28, we do our call to worship. Please rise if you're able to.
Lines up from the bottom. Uma avir yom umei vilayla, uma avir ben yom uvein layla. Adonai tzivaot shemo, El Chai v'Kayam. Tamid yimloch aleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch eta Adonai ha'ma'arif aravi.
Page 33, just below the line. Torah is what God has revealed to us and what we discern of God. Ideas and ideals, laws and mitzvot, our religious heritage. It unfolds our memories of Abraham and Sarah, of Moses and Miriam and the prophets. It is legislation and explanation, allowing questions that challenge, answers that inspire, all a quest for meaning. It is our way of life, a path for our souls, and the design for a better world.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem Kivod, Malchuto Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. On page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
When people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words, saying, "Have faith and take your troubles to God." Act instead as if there were no God, as though there were only one person in all the world who could help, only yourself. Page 40. We can read together in the bottom of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety. and in your presence our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, ha-pores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Our prayer for Shabbat v'Shamru really embraces that Shabbat menucha, that Shabbat rest, then Shabbos nap, which is one of my faves. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, et HaShabbat la'asot, et HaShabbat לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת, שבת, ויהי נחש. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם, ברית עולם. A thought has blown the marketplace away. There is a song on the wind, joy in the trees. Shabbat has arrived in the world, scattering the psalm in the silence of the night. And eternity utters a day, and eternity utters a day. הגיבור והנורא, אל העליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. Page 55. Just below the line. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things in space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness of time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world. Page 59. We can join together at the top. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Page 61. Below the line. By three things does the world endure: justice, truth, and peace. Rabbi Muna said, the three are one, because if justice is done, truth has been effected, and peace is brought about. We'll take time for our own internal reflection and silent prayer. offer a prayer for Israel, for all those fighting against us, and for all those in captivity. This is called Return Home by Dalia Rakibovich. What are you doing outside, girl? Your feet haven't found rest. Wounded bird, return to me and come back to your home. Listen to the sounds, the thunder over the rooftops. From the clash of storm, guard your soul, return to your home. A high midnight moon, light upon branches of a tree. Let your soul hear a tiny song. There the wormwood crows. There a soul is freezing cold. A dark window and a closed shutter. Return to your home. A high midnight moon, light upon branches of a tree. Let your soul hear a tiny song. Carry your eye up to the sky. The crack of dawn already turns gray. One bird had already woken. Return to your home. We think of those in our own community who are in need of healing and of being lifted up. This week we are thinking of Annie, Steve Bloom, Linda Bloom, Joe Crane, Tracy Ford, Ellen Heckler, Johanna Kitchell, Molly Karolabinowitz, Sue Rollinger, Nikki Rosner, Lauren Shevitz, Fran Wygod, Mark Wilner, Gloria Zytok, Dan Zimmerman, Judy Zimmerman, and Marcia Silverman. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so. Our prayer for healing is
Anna Elna.
Anna Elna.
In honor of
Maybe
the
a page
Torah
number.
portion with the waters of Miriam is not there anymore, and so the waters of healing are not really there in the camp right now, and so we need a little bit of that healing. Page 373 in our prayer books. Anna Elna Rafana La, please God heal her. Anna Elna Rafana La, Anna Elna Rafana
receive healing. It's the weekend, and it's a holiday, so we were short on personnel. I realized that defending the outpost was going to be hard. I clearly needed to first send forces to the civilians. This is also the answer I got from the brigade. I kept the news to myself to not create panic. We were very few against many. The war room was filling up with the wounded from the military base. These were my friends. The floor turned red, and the troops were screaming in pain. Those were the words of IDF soldier Karen Meir, who was serving as an operations sergeant in the war room at the military base at Kisufim on October 7th. Our Torah portion this week tells the story of two deaths, of Miriam's and Aaron's, and each are sad and tragic in their own way, and they each leave us with a different lesson. But the death of Miriam is fleeting. It's only given one verse. As I analyzed Miriam's death, I was reminded of the many, many soldiers who have died defending Israel and the pre-state Jewish settlement. The Defense Ministry's website reports that over 25,000 have died since the state's founding. But the number does not include the detail of who died fighting, specifically if the soldier was a woman or a man. Ofer Ash, head of the nonprofit Forum Devora, decided to fill that knowledge gap herself. Forum Devora was created in 2015 to actively champion women's participation in national security and foreign policy decision-making. Recently, Ofer created a database called Women Warriors to tell the stories of Israel's fallen female soldiers. She started her work just before the events of October 7th occurred. With these websites, Ofer and others hope to memorialize the fallen and to inspire new soldiers and change old attitudes by publicizing women's contributions to IDF combat operations. According to Women Warriors, 1,130 women have fallen in action or during their service since Israel was established. Most recently, 52 female IDF soldiers were killed on October 7th, and 5 more have been killed since then. While women have been part of Israel's military from its earliest days, it is only in recent decades that many combat positions have opened up to female soldiers. Ofer argued, "We have always believed in women, their ability to fight, and their ability to be combat commanders. And it is unfortunate that we needed a war to prove this, for everyone to see how they are fighting." It is even more interesting to note that this organization was created by a woman. Ofer and others had to force us into conversation about gender and military politics. Perhaps it is a rallying cry to identify the places in which females are cut short, whether it is in highly publicized instances of war or through women facing poverty and economic inequality. Looking back on Miriam's death, we see that it follows the description of the red heifer, which makes it seem quite unexpected. However, the commentators argue that the death of righteous people have an atoning effect. The ritual of the red heifer, which was performed until the destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem in 70 CE, was supposed to provide atonement for certain kinds of sin. And so we can make a connection between these two chapters in our portion. Rabbi Menachem ben Solomon Meiri, a rabbi of the 11th and 12th centuries, argued that it is not the act of righteous dying that atones for sins. Rather, these deaths often move the living toward introspection and private acknowledgement of wrongdoing, which then results in personal prayer for repentance. Just before her death, in the previous parsha, many Israelites were killed for challenging Moses' and God's power. From this, we can infer that Miriam's death atones for this sin and perhaps many other complaints of the Israelites. This process of introspection can be another way to grieve our loved ones. Miriam never received justice or enough credit throughout her lifetime. She is known as one of Israel's leaders in the text of Micah, where it says, "I redeemed you from the house of bondage and sent Moses, Aaron, and Miriam to lead you." Yet she is really seen as a leader by the Israelites or by Moses. She is called a prophet, even though her teachings are not recorded. Furthermore, the figure of Miriam is symbolized by a well which nourishes the people and provides a life-giving function. This commemorates when Miriam stood by watching her infant brother in a basket in the reeds at the edge of a Nile river. God rewards her for her act of kindness by making her the provider of water. And after her death, the people lose their water source. But the people did not realize that she was the one giving this water until she was gone. I can make a direct correlation between our present moment in history and the deaths of Miriam and Aaron. Unlike Miriam, Aaron receives the proper death and burial rituals. God tells Moses to prepare Aaron for his death by taking him and his son Eleazar up Mount Hor. After Aaron's death, the Israelites mourn for 30 days. We are forced to ask, is the elaborate mourning for Aaron a result of what Moses has learned from Miriam's death? Midrash argues that Aaron's death received more mention, and he is mourned by a significant portion of the Israelites, unlike Moses and Miriam. Numbers 20 reads, "And the entire congregation saw that Miriam had died, and the entire house of Israel mourned him for 30 days. In contrast, after Moses' death, only the children of Israel mourned him, as described in Deuteronomy." Jewish tradition commands us to properly mourn the passing of a loved one. Not to mourn at all is detrimental both to the living and to the departed soul. Mourning is a display of respect to the departed and to his or her place in our lives. Public silence about Miriam's death and about the deaths of female Israeli soldiers are a mistake. Furthermore, the lack of information provided about them is unfair and does not honor their contributions to this world. It is high time women received equal mention and appreciation for their hard work. Holocaust survivor and writer Elie Wiesel said, "We each have blind spots, just as every candle casts its own shadow. Only when you place a second candle next to the first do the shadows disappear, illuminated by the other's light." All of us have blind spots and have at one time or another forgotten those who died due to violence. But they fought for equality, recognition, and justice. And we must find ways to do justice to their names and memories, just as they have fought for peace in our world. Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn to the Aleinu, page 282. Please rise if you're able to. Seated. Page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows. It is radiant with warmth and beauty. But soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our lives are full. But as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down and gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory, slowly fading to the darkness. With our lives, we give life Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness, of death, of light and life. We think of those who have passed away in recent days and weeks. Today we're remembering Kermit Prill, Gerald Friedman, and Carol DeVore. We think of those who have passed away in this season in years past. We're remembering Burton Applebaum, Norman Barrell, Raymond Becker, Emilia Berg, Alexander Elin, Mr. Herbert Felick, Louise Jones, Myron Joyrich, Suzanne Kane, Beatrice Kaplan, Pearl Coatson, Alfred E. Lakin, Ray Cooper Lass, Mildred Lewis, Sandra Rochelle Miller, Pearl Nussbaum, Morris Schindler, Jean Dorman Schwartz, Florence Sklar, Elaine Zach Trahey, Max Weisbrod, Bernard B. Wilder, and Carl Zeid. If you have any names to add or correct, I encourage you to do so. We rise in solidarity for the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, za'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru Amen. Please be seated. We'll have Jean offer us some announcements. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening, and thank you to our ushers and our stream team as well. The next meeting of our current events group will be on Tuesday, July 16th at 3:30 p.m. Next Friday night, July 19th at 7 p.m. will be our Pet Shabbat. During this service, we will bless the animals and our families. Please bring your animal either on a leash or in a crate. We will hold this service outside in the social hall or in the social hall, weather pending. To support our pet pantry, please bring a donation of dry pet food to the service. And as a public service announcement, if your dog is uncontrollable, please put it in a crate so we do not have any problems. On Sunday, July 21st at 11 a.m., join us at Beth Am Synagogue as we get a tour of the Biblical Garden by Rabbi Steve Rubenstein and learn all about the plants that are growing there that are mentioned in the Torah. It is time for TKA Havdalah in the park. Join us at Heritage Park in Farmington Hills on Saturday, July 27th at 5:30 p.m. Bring your own picnic for an evening of games, s'mores, and songs. Sorry, no pets are allowed. If you have any questions about any of the above events or to RSVP, please contact the temple office. Wishing everybody a Shabbat Shalom.
Dean, can you stay for a moment? Thank you so much. Going to be on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lema'aseh bereshit Ki hu yom tefila lemikra'e kodesh Zecher litziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Avon.
Thank you so much. Our closing song is on page 321. Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malav b'tzerem kol yitzir nivra me'ein atzav v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hover ve'hu yiyeh v'tifarach ve'hu yiyeh v'tifarach ve'hu echad v'yein sheni lecham shilo lechach bira ve'li reishit ve'li tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'hu eli ve'chai go'ali ve'tzur chevli ve'tzara ve'hu nisi umanos li ve'nat posli ve'yom ekra ve'nat posli ve'yom ekra ve'yado avkid ruchi ve'eit yishan ve'ayira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira.
May you feel whole, knowing you are enough. May you feel confident, knowing you are prepared. May you feel calm, knowing the storm will pass. And may you feel at peace, knowing you are loved. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.